It was a quiet week as Nebraska sailed through the bye week, looking to rest and recharge before entering the gauntlet that is their final 5 games. As they get ready to host Illinois, is a bowl berth still in the Huskers' future? We'll discuss that and what Nebraska needs to do through the final stretch with our guests, Amy Just from Lincoln Journal-Star and Robin Washington from Husker Online. Sean Callahan will also have the latest on an eventful week of recruiting. All that and more next up on Big Red Wrap. Hi, everyone. I'm Michael Severe, and welcome to Big Red Wrap-Up on Nebraska Public Media. We're getting ready for the drive for the last 5. Joining me now, former Husker, Jay Moore, and Sean Callahan. You like it? You want T-shirts?
Drive for the 5?
Drive for the last 5. Yeah, I mean, it's also the chance to get to a bowl game. It's a chance to get Mickey Joseph hired as the head coach. There's a lot online.
A lot of dynamics going on.
There is. And they started off playing the best team, the second best team left on their schedule.
Oh my God, Michigan?
I almost forgot Michigan for a second. Actually, the numbers, though, wise, Illinois got better numbers in some places.
Yeah, you look at this game, it's on paper, number 1 defense in the country, number 1 scoring defense in the country, nation's number 1 running back, rusher. I mean, everything there about Illinois, it's different than any team Nebraska's played this year.
They're not great in the red zone, though, defensively, though.
Other than that.
Other than that.
Yeah, you look at what Illinois does very, very well, and that does not complement what Nebraska. I just don't think Nebraska matches up very well in this one. Chase Brown, the running game, the physicality that Bielema has brought to this program. Then defensively, they're able to get off the passer. What'd you say, Sean? We were doing the segment before. 21 pressures.
21 quarterback pressures per game.
Per game.
So obviously we know the struggles that the front 5 have protecting Casey. Yeah. So that does not suit up well. But again, this is why you play 60 minutes of football. And I do believe that Nebraska is probably the best offense, most explosive offense that they've faced so far this year. Definitely. So there's something to that. But I think Nebraska, offensively and defensively, is going to have to manufacture something. They just can't line up at this point in the game. Yeah. They can't line up and just say, hey, we're going to run the football, and we're going to get after you with 4. They're going to have to send 5, 6 guys to get after the quarterback and just to stop the run and try to do something. I don't think they're able to stretch the field. I think you have enough time to get Trey Palmer in the big game. I think you're going to have to get some intermediate stuff going, and hopefully Trey's able to make something happen in the back end.
You got to hope for turnovers, of course. As always, we need your help to keep the conversation going. Our friends from the University of Nebraska's College of Journalism and Mass Comm, they're here manning the phones, awaiting your calls. Of course, the man in charge, sports intern Sam. Hey, Sam. There he is. There's Sam. Text or email your questions right to us, bigred@nebraskapublicmedia.org. You can also reach us on social media. Share your thoughts, questions, comments. We're watching Facebook and Twitter to make sure you will reach out to us tonight. Join the discussion. We also have a new sideline survey for you this week. Will Nebraska make a bowl game? Probable, possible, or unlikely at this point? 9% say probable, 53% say possible, and 38% say unlikely. Head to the website now to vote and head back each week for a brand new survey. Give me a guy that you can remember when you were playing, running back like Chase Brown, a guy who every time you hit him, he goes forward. Every time you think you have him, he breaks tackles. Who was a guy like that?
Oh, my gosh. I know he's not quite to, God, one of the best running backs I played. Adrian Peterson was that one.
Well, he was, yes.
But, that's I don't know if that's an apples to apples. That might be a more apples to oranges comparison.
Who's the guy that Oklahoma State have?
Hunter?
Remember?
Kenyon Hunter?
No. It was smaller back. Savage or something like that.
Oh, yes.
Guy runs like low to the ground, hard to tackle, always goes forward.
Yeah, those are tough. Those guys, you got your head across, you got to wrap up, you got to come with some bad intentions, get him down. He's got our number now for the last couple of years. Again, he's feel like he's been the running back in Illinois now for many, many years. So you got to come with some, some bad intentions to get him down. Obviously, with Hendricks now being out for the rest of the year, that linebacker crew is going to be called on a lot. Hopefully, they might have to bring a safety down and help out in the run game, obviously. And hopefully the front 4 can play well and stop that run just to get Illinois in some third and longs. To, like I said, manufacture something to get after the quarterback. But if not, if Chase Brown's able to do what he's been doing to the majority of the teams this year, it's going to be a long day for the Big Red.
Can they contain him, you think? They can't stop him, but I think hold him under 100?
If you can keep him under 150, I think that would be good. I mean, he's the 10-plus yard runs are what worry you. He has 33 of those on the year. So he typically is going to pop multiple 10-plus yard runs a game. And how many of those can you limit? How many times can you keep them in the second level. Once he gets to the third level, that's where the problems are. And if Nebraska makes it too easy, that's where this could be a really long Saturday. Nebraska needs to jump on Illinois, get them a little bit out of their game. You know, that opening drive, if they get the ball first, they've got to be really, really good out of the gates. And if they can jump on them, put some pressure on them, get the crowd in the game, I think that's their best recipe on Saturday.
Give you an idea how good he is. Here's the list of the top running backs. You see the numbers he's put up. 151 yards rushing a game. There's Mo Abraham, who's had some banged up. He's been injured a little bit. Blake Corum was one of the toughest backs. Nebraska will see him, of course. Braylon Allen, Nebraska will see him, of course. And then there's Anthony
Four
Grant.
straight weeks.
Yeah, that's tough. You know what? That's the Big Ten, though. Every time you get in the Big Ten, you're going to have that. Here's the big question about Illinois is, I know that they have been pretty much mistake-free, but they're due for a game where they're going to turn over. You know what they need? They need a start to the game like Nebraska had, where you fumble a punt, ball goes to the end zone or something like that to start off to give Nebraska a little momentum.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice for get some, they'd turn the ball over, make some mistakes, get some penalties. Maybe Nebraska, can, break some off special teams wise, block punt for touchdown, something like that. Punt return, Tommy Hill, we saw getting close to getting loose against Purdue. Maybe they can break something like that. Something needs to happen like that in Nebraska. Nebraska has to be so good in all three phases to come out in this game. Otherwise, Illinois is too good of a football team. I just love what Bielema was able to do and install in this program in year 2.
2 years.
To see the physicality. What he's done is just, I know a lot, not just with what he's done. He's an Iowa guy. Coached at Wisconsin, beat up on us when he was at Wisconsin, and then but what he's able to instill is like that is what I want in the future of Nebraska football. They're able to run the ball, physicality, fast physical defense, and the commitment to the run game. That's what I want Nebraska to be, in the future.
Quiet bye week. Biggest news was Malachi Coleman. Was it the biggest bye week news?
Yeah, just the recruiting and the approach in general. Nebraska sent out everybody but the coordinators to recruit. That included Mickey Joseph. And honestly, these 2 bye weeks in general, it was the most aggressive I've seen Nebraska on a bye. They made 7 JUCO offers. We'll talk about that more in the recruiting segment. But just the presence that Mickey had on the road, again, we haven't seen a head coach at Nebraska go out like that, let alone for 2 bye weeks where he maximized all that time out there, really kind of creating a presence that, hey, I want to be at Nebraska. That's the biggest thing I took away, because the team could only practice 2 days last week because of the rules.
My point was that unlike some other bye weeks in the past, with a different head coach, there was no drama. There was none of that. It was a little bit of recruiting, but for the most part, it was quiet, which is a good thing in a bye week.
Yeah, that's you want to get rest up. You want to get some recruiting done if possible, and just kind of quiet your mind a little bit and get ready for the next week. Take care of your school. That when you get done.
Oh, they are students, yep.
For students,
school, about that.
Athletes, school. This is the second one, right?
Yep.
This is uncharacteristic from years past to get 2 bye weeks, but you got to take care of your things, get healthy, and just get your mind focused to this 5-game stretch they have here this year. Like you said, possible making a bowl game, we'll see. But you got to clean some stuff up. That's a good time to kind of now shift your attention to this 5-game season, and hopefully you can, get some momentum going somehow, some way to finish this thing strong.
What do you think about, and this is the final 5 games of the schedule, Illinois, Minnesota, who is really on a struggle bus right now, Michigan, maybe the 5th or 6th best team in the country, Wisconsin, we know where they are, and Iowa literally can't score on offense. Sean, what about the defense? Kolarvik moves back to the middle where, he should be comfortable. What do you think about that defensive move?
I still think they're going to need more there than Kolarvik. Can Clements, Mogul Clements, come in there and provide quality snaps? Can Ernest Hausman get himself back up there? That to me is almost the bigger story, that Ernest Hausman started games earlier and he had fallen off the depth chart as far as being listed on there. He's back on there now. But can they get him maybe to get 10, 15 quality snaps a game? Because it can't just be Kolarvik for 70 snaps. They're going to have to get more guys out there.
Well, he didn't miss a tackle, remember, against Purdue. That's something to say about,
It's hard, man. I can imagine. You should. If I got put in that scenario as an 18-year-old freshman, he'd look
against Oklahoma.
Right. He'd look. It's impressive, but it's a lot to ask for a kid to be put in there in the schemes that are very complicated, coming from a guy that's played, Class A football at Columbus High. It's so vastly different. it's hard. You don't want to beat up on him too hard because I could not have been put in that situation, and obviously I wasn't. And I did it. But having him, you mentioned Clements. He's able to fill in with when Reimers got dinged up against Rutgers. Did some good things. So hopefully we're able to rely on him. But again, this is a game where I think Farmer can play big.
Yeah.
Where you have Buford, you got your safeties come down and play heavy in this run game.
Now I like Clements outside pass rushing. I think that's his strength. That's what he did before he got here. The thing about Hausman is he's always been a dog. I saw him against Bellevue West, and that was a team that had all that talent in there, and he was everywhere. And I think he was only maybe a sophomore or junior when he did that. So he's got it in him to be that guy and step up. We'll see. But I think he certainly fixed some stuff against Purdue.
Well, and early in his career, having even the Georgia Southern game, that was a bad game for a young guy to go out there and have to play as much.
Way to spread everybody out. Yeah.
And so this type of football should be better for him if he gets out there. But I think they're going to really rely on Kolarevic.
Yeah. Wide receiver-wise, we know what Nebraska's been able to do with Trey Palmer. Mickey said it today. Everybody else is going to have to get involved because Illinois is going to say stop him.
Yeah, everybody. Washington, hopefully Vokalek in the tight end
Brown.
game.
Yep.
Everyone's going to have to be all involved because I would be very surprised if they allow Trey Palmer to go one-on-one. I think you're going to see two guys on him at all times. Even a guy over top just shading his way just to make you say, all right, if you want to take this on, you're going to have to fit it into a tight window.
Put him in a slot, move him, force them to do some things to be
very much so.
Keep their eyes
wandering. Well, you do some motion. We've talked
line up in the backfield
a ton this year about him operating in between the hashes. You can motion him, get some stuff, get him into some jet motion, stuff, and there's so many different things that Whipple can do with him, just with his capabilities. But it's a big game for everyone else to step up, and it's a good game for Anthony Grant, to maybe catch some balls at the backfield as well, if they don't need him to chip on some of those DNs that are coming off the edge.
It's a Bill Callahan game, How about running a running back pass, or you're running a lot of ghost motion and you run some stuff over that? You're gonna have to pull out something that they haven't seen, and you had a whole bye week to get ready for it.
Yeah, they kept him home. I mean, the coordinator stayed back, didn't recruit. So hopefully Bill Bush and Mark Whipple were able to draw up a lot of new concepts. They've had plenty of time to study Illinois. They're not going to be surprised by the defensive front this time around, like a year ago in week 0 when Ryan Walters evidently surprised Scott Frost with a front that they weren't ready for.
70% of the offense had to go. That's bad memories right there. Why would you go back to that? That's horrible, Shell.
Well, same staff.
I know.
I mean, that game was such a downward spiral to the season to lose that week 0 game. I mean, it felt like the season was not over at that point, but it had a terrible feeling, and you got to get that one back now.
Yeah, I remember that drive home. It was not fun. It's time to update as Nebraska heads into Illinois week with our latest Big Red Report.
Well, we beat up. We beat up front. We down a couple of starters, but I feel good about them. I feel good about the bye week they had, and I felt good about their practice this morning. So they still giving us really good effort, and they really practicing really hard.
This is kind of the halfway-ish point, and having that rest right in the middle to kind of get your body back, get your mind right is huge, especially how physical this conference is. So especially being a down guy, getting hit every play. So it's nice to rest your body.
And they're going to play the #1 team in the West this week. So they still control their own destiny. But, I think their confidence is there right now. They believe that they can win.
It's 5 guys up front, so, they're really just facing their best 5 guys against, whoever they play's best 5 guys up front. So, on their edge guys, they're big guys, they're quick guys. On the interior, they're physical. They like to do a lot of power moves and stuff like that. So, we got to be really keened in on our pass technique and run technique all week this week.
They do a good job of creating a lot of pressure and movement up front in the front 7. They do a good job in the back end. I know some of their DBs have recognition, so I would say that they have good size, good speed, good athleticism. So, I'm sure that they're feeling good, but, we like what we have as well, and we're excited about the matchup.
I mean, it's pretty obvious it's not going the way that we expected or even wanted to, but it's never too late. It's never too late to turn the season around, so that's all I'm looking for. I'm more of a look forward guy. How can we fix this? Not looking at the past and what we did wrong. We need to focus on what we can fix and how to make this season better and try to still complete what we want to do.
And this football team's a really good football team when we execute in all 3 phases. So we're preaching to them that we need to execute. We need to execute the game plan.
Welcome back. Amy just joining us from Lincoln Journal-Star. Amy, appreciate you coming in. How you doing?
I'm good. The bye week was restful, mostly. Ran the halvesy on Sunday, so still a little sore from that. But other than that, great.
Ran the halvesy and made gumbo. Which one was better?
I mean, it was so hot on Sunday. Gumbo always.
Yeah, that was rough, no doubt about it. So, bye week like that, what was the thing that you think Nebraska needed to concentrate on most during the bye week in terms of game planning for Illinois?
Honestly, getting healthy.
Yeah.
Casey Thompson, I mean, I wrote this in a column a couple weeks ago that his injury list is longer than my grocery list. The offensive line isn't doing him many favors at all. It's not completely on them. It's a little on him too, but just getting everybody healthy is important. And I think, at least for Casey, he's feeling a little better. I asked him about that earlier today, and the rest was beneficial for him.
Amy, you're obviously from Nebraska, but you came back in to cover Nebraska. First time really around the program in this fashion. Just what have been some of your views, takes of just being around the program, being around Nebraska, just from afar, coming into it now?
I mean, what a first year on the beat.
Welcome.
Nothing's happened.
Yeah, I know, nothing. It's been slow, no news, right? Yeah, so that's been really interesting, just diving in, not getting a whole lot of time to understand like Scott Frost, because he was gone in an instant, basically. I mean, I'd only talked to him one time outside of like podium stuff, so I didn't really get a chance to know who he was as a person and kind of learn how he goes about things. And that's what I like to do with new head coaches that I'm working with, and so didn't get a chance to do that. You usually get some time to, interact with the players more and learn who they are as people. And with everything happening so quickly after getting here in terms of all of the changes, there were several weeks where we didn't talk to players, just with everything going on. So I felt like the rug had been pulled out from under me at the very beginning. Not that I didn't expect that, I just didn't expect that in September.
Amy, we already talked about, what Illinois does very, very well, and it doesn't really complement what Nebraska, what they struggle with. Where do you see a scenario where Nebraska can attack Illinois from offensive to their defensive in this game?
Offensively, I think Nebraska is one of the better teams that Illinois' defense has faced this season. Defensively, for Nebraska, I worry about there's no stopping that run game. It's just, can you limit how productive they are? That's a big worry for me. If Nebraska has a chance, in my opinion, to win this game, like something really weird is going to have to happen, whether that be like a pick six or, blocked punt return. Something strange is going to have to happen for them to pull this off, I think.
How much did you cover LSU when you were in Louisiana?
Briefly. So I covered the 2018 season, part of it. So my first game in Tiger Stadium was LSU's upset of Georgia, where they rushed the field. That was my indoctrination into Louisiana football. And that was a very strange season. The 7 overtime game against Texas A&M, the Fiesta Bowl win over UCF.
Right.
But that was pretty much the extent of it. I got through basketball season, was a basketball reporter there, covered their gymnastics team, and then I was laid off and then covered the Saints the next season. So.
Yeah, you did run around Mickey a little bit. What do you think makes him so attractive to fans? Because a lot of people are saying, hey, we want him as our head coach. It wasn't like that 3 or 4 weeks ago, I don't think.
He's captivating, and his personality is just infectious. It doesn't just rub off on people. You feel it, like all the way through your soul. And I feel like that is a part of what makes him such a great recruiter too. Is you're gonna get what you get with Mickey, and if you love it, you love it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. There's really no in between. And I just feel that Nebraska fans can feel his energy and they believe it because it's genuine and sincere.
Amy, do you think there's a win number he's got to get to? I mean, do these next 2 weeks kind of tell us what's going to happen with Mickey Joseph as far as if he's the head coach or going to be just retained as an assistant? I mean, what's your feel on that whole situation right now?
So I didn't know what to make of that until the Frost metrics came out, which, you know, six wins in a bowl, but that wasn't, you know, the bare minimum. That was 6 wins in a bowl was so Scott could get back up to $5 million. That wasn't if you don't get to 6 wins, we're going to fire you.
Right.
Like, the bar for that was lower. So if Mickey can get bowl eligible, does that make him a candidate for the job? Because that's what you wanted Frost to do. I don't know if that's the thinking that Alberts has. I wish I knew, right? But the next 2 weeks, I think, are going to be important. Like, I don't think they beat Illinois this weekend, but if they're competitive, like they were 2 weeks ago against Purdue, maybe. But is it possible they can make it to a bowl game? I think so. But possible, right? Not going to happen. There are 3 winnable games left.
What did you take away from what Coach Joseph said today, where he said, you know, I'll just go back to Baton Rouge, I have a house there. It made it sound like if he didn't get the job, but I think that was more if I don't get retained, if I don't get the job. Which one do you think it was more?
I don't know. I didn't read into it that deep.
Okay, because it was strange that he's.
I didn't think it was that deep.
Oh,
But
okay.
maybe I just wasn't reading into.
You thought he was just playing, kind of just joking around.
He can be. He can do that sometimes.
Right.
But yeah, no. I think that he wants this job, and I think he'd be good at it. I just don't know if they're gonna make the jump to do it. But we'll find out.
What do you think of Casey Thompson, by the way, just and Trey Palmer, some of the guys they've brought into this team and how they've been able to make some of these pieces work as just newcomers to this whole operation?
Yeah, I struggle to want to know what this offense would look like without those two.
Maybe like Iowa?
No, please no.
Sam wrote a pretty good take on like that. Iowa's
Yeah.
basically Nebraska without Casey Thompson and Trey Palmer and Anthony Grant.
Yeah, I mean, what a benefit those 3 have been. I mean, it's their entire offense, basically. I really like watching the connection between Casey and Trey. Especially against Purdue, it was so electrifying. You knew that anytime Casey put the ball up, Trey was going to go get it. You wonder if defenses are going to actually stop him. They're going to try. But he's played well all season, and no one's defended him. So you would imagine that Illinois is going to try to at least bracket him this week.
Yeah.
Will it work? I guess we'll find out.
If it wasn't Casey Thompson, I assume they'd have to move the offense around and make it more of a mobile quarterback. Would you like to see a little bit of that in the offense? Because you have to do something against Illinois that they really haven't seen this year if you're going to move the ball on them.
I mean, we need to see more out of Anthony Grant. You know, whether it's just not working from a blocking standpoint or, you know, giving him a few more touches. We need more out of that.
What about the last question? The survey today is, will they make a bowl? Possible, probable, unlikely? What do you think?
Probable is what I'm thinking. There are 3 winnable games in my opinion left on there, and we'll see. But yeah, that Iowa game,
It'd come down to that. Yeah.
That's what you want, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting Thanksgiving weekend for all of us.
No doubt. Amy, we appreciate it. Welcome back home.
Thank you.
All right, thanks to her. Next up on the show, keep the conversation going. Robin Washut joins us from Husker Online as we go to break. Images from the winning road trip, courtesy of Hail Varsity. Stay with us. We're back soon. It's time for a taste of social media during the bye week. First up, Husker Corner on Twitter showcases the latest victim of the Huskers' hex this season, Purdue this time. You know how it works. Play Nebraska, you're going to lose the next week, and that's what happened. No team has won this season the week after beating Nebraska. Next up, of course, is Kevin, who just felt lost without any Husker football this weekend, highlighting his dilemma with the classic Ricky Bobby meme, I don't know what to do with my hands. Welcome back to Big Red Wrap-Up, and welcome our next guest, Robin Washut, Husker Online. Thanks for being on the show, and thanks for wearing the boots.
Absolutely. You know,
Only you and Sip with the boots.
Well, you know, I tried to do my best for my debut on Big Red Wrap-Up, so thank you for having me, and I'm glad my outfit is approved by Michael Severe.
And now what we have is the two strongest men in Husker media. You're one, you're two. Pretty cool. Nice to have you guys on the same set.
I appreciate you. I'm considered Husker Media. I appreciate that.
You're here every week, man.
Yeah, I know. You're true,
Let's
but
be clear,
listen.
it's a distant second.
How much of the bye week did you spend with thinking about Nebraska football, and how much basketball? Because obviously things were getting started.
That's right. No week off for us hoops guys. The exhibition opener against Chadron State on Sunday. You know, it's one of those games where you take it for what it is. It's obviously a Division II opponent, and you're not going to read too much into it, especially given the fact that Fred Hoiberg said he had 2 actions in the entire game, 1 perimeter play, 1 post play. Wow. So you take it for what it is. But, you know, it was a good, at least, first chance to see this group together on the court with fans in the stands against a live opponent. So there was some value that you could take away from that. But now you look ahead to next week when they go out to Colorado for that charity game rematch out in Boulder. I think you're going to be able to gauge a little bit more about what this team is all about. Now, go back to last year, take those exhibitions with a grain of salt, because they look like the Golden State Warriors there in that first game against Buffalo. So, you know, I think you'll take it as kind of that next layer of evaluating what this group is, because it is so completely different from what Fred has had now in his 4th season here in Lincoln. That still very much a work in progress, offensively especially. But, you know, I think the Chadron game and then looking ahead to Colorado, you're going to have a much better sense of what these guys are all about, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are than even you did a week ago.
Yeah, Robin, what do you like about this team? They're picked 14th in the preseason poll. And what is your biggest question? I mean, why are people picking them 14th? There's a lot of it the unknowns. But what's your assessment of this roster?
Yeah, the unknowns is a big part of it. And again, who's going to score? Their shooting left a lot to be desired against Chadron State. You know, they shot 23% from behind the arc. That's clearly not good enough. But what you do like about this group is the effort, their commitment to defense, and their willingness to rebound. I don't know, my Twitter mentions, our message board on Red Sea Scrolls, those are things that people were very upset were lacking over the last 3 years. And so I think that this group, if nothing else, the try factor, the want to, in all the dirty work elements of basketball that are so critical, especially in the Big Ten Conference, those are going to be there. Now, you got to wonder, just from a skill standpoint, from a shooting standpoint, you know, who's going to get the ball when the shot clock's winding down, you need a bucket. Those are things that we don't know. But what we do know is that these guys are going to give max effort every time they go down the floor on both ends of the floor. And that starts with some of the guys they brought in, Sam Griesel. There's not a player that has played for Fred Hoiberg that cares more about Nebraska basketball than Sam Griesel. Emmanuel Bandamel played on 4 straight successful teams at SMU. He's played in the NCAA tournament. He's an older guy that knows how to win. Derek Walker, he's a 24-year-old man. Yeah. He came back for this season not to win 8 games. And so there's a pride factor with him. There's, Juwan Gary was a fan favorite at Alabama. We look at this, the reaction from Alabama social media when he transferred to Nebraska. They said, you are getting an absolute dog. And so, you know, he's one of those guys that Nebraska just hasn't had. You know, the guys that don't care about scoring. They care about playing defense. They care about rebounding. They care about diving for loose balls and winning. And so, you know, we'll see how that all comes together. But I think when you look at things to like about this group, that's going to be the stuff that stands out the most for Nebraska fans, just because those intangibles have been lacking a lot over the last 3 years.
One more basketball question from the football guy. The way they finished last year, winning at Wisconsin, obviously the team without McGowan's and so you just highlighted all the new players. is that more of an anomaly, or is that something they can kind of build on to carry into this season?
Yeah, I think that's the blueprint of what they want to be, to where, that picture over those last few games was what they thought that team was going to be all along, and clearly they were hit with adversity right out of the gate, losing to Western Illinois, and they just did not have the resolve to pull themselves together. So that kind of picture where it's just scrappy, guys are fighting, playing really aggressive defense, and just not quitting when times get tough, I think that's what they want to try to carry over. Now, the issue is that's a completely different group outside of a handful of players that are coming back. So the hope is that with the influx of veteran transfers, like I said, Griesel, Bandemel, Juwan Gary, and the like, that those are going to be the types of guys that can embody all of those traits that you saw give Nebraska its best chance to win in the Big Ten last season throughout the course of an entire year this year.
Transitioning back to football, we did see against Indiana and Rutgers, defense play really well in the second half. Struggled against Purdue. Do you think they can get whatever they did in those two games that's coming up Saturday?
Yeah, I think so. It's a tough matchup in a lot of different ways. Obviously, you guys have talked all about how good Illinois is defensively and how good their running game is, but I think that there's an element of what Nebraska's going to show Illinois, or that they haven't seen, especially with their offensive firepower. And it's not just Trey Palmer. I mean, they've got weapons all over the field. It's a matter of, can that offensive line do enough just to allow those weapons to go to work? Because I think there's going to be opportunities to make plays, especially downfield, with not just Trey, but I think they're going to have guys that are going to get one-on-one matchups. If they can win those matchups, that's going to be the difference, I think, especially at home in a game that, if somehow Nebraska is able to pull this off, you kind of reevaluate what the rest of the season could be. So there's a lot on the line here. And for me, it starts obviously with being able to slow down Illinois in that running game, but more importantly, can that offensive line slow down one of the best defensive front sevens they're going to see all season?
Robin, when Scott Frost was fired on September 11th, did you even envision at all that we'd be in this spot October 29th where Mickey Joseph would be a legitimate candidate to get the job? And has that surprised you that he's been able to really generate the momentum he has over this period?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially, even after the Oklahoma game. That was an absolute disaster. And you just wanted to basically call the season off and just hope that we could just kind of wash our hands of it. But for them to make what they've made out of this opportunity, that is a ultimate credit to Mickey Joseph, to Bill Bush, and to every member of that coaching staff for keeping this together. And then the players. The player leadership from taking what looked to be complete meltdown and turning this into a situation where we're just talking about they're in prime position to compete for the division this far along into the season. They're going into the end of October playing meaningful football games. Yes. And I did not expect that, to be honest, especially with what we saw against Georgia Southern, the firing, and against Oklahoma.
If not Mickey, Robin, do you have a favorite? Do you have a pulse on that guy? Because things are getting a little clearer now. Aranda's kind of not having quite the year that you thought he'd have at Baylor. Matt Campbell, Iowa State, I don't believe he's won a Big 12 conference game yet this year. So just things are kind of getting clear. Is there a guy that you like if Mickey isn't that guy who kind of checks all those boxes for you?
Yeah, there's obviously a lot of names that have been thrown out there. Guys like Mark Stoops, Bill O'Brien, Lance Leipold, but I'm not going to pretend like I have any idea what Trev's thinking, and I honestly don't know if he knows where he's going to go with this deal. So it's all speculation at this point, but I think those three guys in particular for me do check a lot of those boxes, to where you have established program builders, guys that know the area, know the Big Ten footprint, know the Nebraska 500-mile radius and how to recruit it, and they understand the importance of player development, particularly on both sides of the line of scrimmage, which in my opinion has been one of the biggest downfalls for Nebraska for far too long, is the inability to not only recruit high-level offensive linemen and defensive linemen to an extent, but get them better. There's been so many high-profile recruits, 4-star guys, nationally recruited guys that get worse by the time they're here. And so that has to stop first and foremost. Whoever the coach is, you have to emphasize not just recruiting and building up an offensive line, but developing it to where you're at the standard of Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, and the like.
And then sometimes when they get to the NFL, all of a sudden they're better.
Right.
They obviously had the potential.
Boy, I got to wonder what happened to high school and NFL.
He's been on the line, yeah.
Give me, if it's not Trey Palmer, who's your pick to click on offense? Who has who steps up?
I like Marcus Washington.
Okay.
I think this is an important game for him. He talked about it at the press conference this week where, he knows a lot of the guys on that coaching staff and on that roster. He was recruited twice by Illinois, out of high school and then when he left Texas. And so this is a kind of one of those personal games for him where I think he's going to be motivated. And you talked all about the opportunities that's going to be there with the attention being paid to Trey Palmer. I think Marcus Washington is going to have ample opportunities to make some plays downfield and make Illinois pay for overcommitting to stopping Trey Palmer.
How creative do you think Whipple is going to be with Trey Palmer? I mean, this guy had 2 weeks now to kind of figure things out. He knows probably how they're going to try to go at him. So at that point, how does Whipple spin off that?
I think you look back, Mark Whipple had a guy named Jordan Addison who was on the top of everybody else's scouting report all season, and he was the nation's leading receiver. So, I think that Mark Whipple has all the capability to find different creative ways, doing motions, getting stuff where you're trying to create different matchups, especially, like you said, between the hashes. I think that's going to be important because if you just line him up on the perimeter, Illinois is going to take him away, and he's too good of a player to just completely write off.
I think they had maybe 9-10 people in the depth chart for running back start the season. Now there's what, 2.5? Who do you think's number 2 behind Anthony Grant?
Well, with Gabe Irvin's turf toe injury, that it makes it a interesting dynamic where you have Jaquez Yant, who you see flashes of what he could be, but he's left a lot to be desired. And then it's Ramir Johnson, who, welcome back to the team, I guess. He gets 1 carry for his first touch of the season, goes for 17 yards. Against Purdue, you don't see him again for the rest of the game. So can he finally be the type of player that everybody expected he'd be with all the talk about him going into the season? So I'm curious more with Ramir and just can they get him more involved, especially we talked about Illinois' pass rush, Nebraska's offensive line, their pass protection issues. Will we see some screen passes to the running back? And can Ramir be that versatile pass-catching back that can add that element to the offense?
It's got to come out of his hand quick, though, right?
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
we watched, this is the NFL, I know, but you had a game with Tua where no one wanted him to get hit. The first, I'd say, quarter and a half, the ball was out in less than a second. It was just quick. That's kind of what they have to do on Saturday.
Absolutely. Quick timing routes, and then maybe move him out of the pocket a little bit. Don't just have him be a sitting duck back there, because that will not end.
Maybe a little shovel pass. We haven't seen much of those this year.
Anything delay-wise, right? So they're going to come up the field that way, get them on a delay.
Mark Whipple has it in his repertoire to come up with those types of things. So I'm curious to see how far they go into that to not only get Trey involved, but protect Casey.
What we don't talk a lot about on that Pitt team, you had a quarterback who was willing to go and get 8 yards, get 10 yards. We're seeing that now in the NFL with the Steelers. That's something Casey Thompson's got to do more of, I think.
Yeah, that's an element that, you go compared to last year's offense, is not nearly there the way it was. He's capable. He's shown flashes of escaping and picking up yardage. But again, he's a guy that's already taken quite a bit of a beating this season. You don't want him taking any unnecessary shots.
Understandable. Yeah, he's kind of banged up. Last 5, pick how many? What do you got, record?
Last 5. I think 3 is attainable. Is it likely? I don't know. I think what we see against Illinois will go a long way in that discussion. If they go out and get housed, then my odds of getting to 3 is going to be significantly lower.
Well, I wish you a successful basketball season, because the last time you covered one of those, that would be awesome.
It's been a while.
Robin Walsh from North Carolina. We appreciate it, Robin.
Thank you.
Up time for another break. Next up, Sean will have some big updates for the 2023 class. But first, more scenes from the season so far, courtesy of Hail Varsity. Back in 2. Welcome back to the show. I'm Michael Severe. He's Sean Callahan. You saw us over there earlier. Big news Saturday. 2023 class. Not just big news, but a great story about a young man who's overcome a lot of adversity.
Yeah, Malachi Coleman from Lincoln East officially committed to Nebraska on Saturday evening at his high school at Lincoln East, and #1 player in the state. Really a consensus top 100 overall national prospect, 6'5", pushes 200 pounds, 10'4", a guy in the 100, 41-inch vertical. This was the ceremony, and that's his parents, Craig and Miranda, who adopted Malachi, and his sister. They have 3 adopted children, and just wonderful people. I've gotten to know Craig and Miranda the last couple of years. They happened to just go to my gym, and I remember when they told me, like, we got a young boy in Malachi. We think he's going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
and they were. I mean, Malachi is obviously, in terms of athletic ability, as gifted of a athlete as we've seen come through this state in a while. Now, that's Mickey Joseph's job or whoever at Nebraska to get it out of him, because I think he can, the sky is the limit on Malachi. He's got things you can't coach, kind of like Xavier Betts.
I was going to say Xavier Betts is the last guy I can think of that had that kind of vertical and that kind of 40.
But he's taller than Xavier. He's faster. He's got legit track speed. So it just makes it look easy. Everything this guy does, you watch him dunk a basketball, it's just 2 hands, boom.
What about what he said? He wasn't coming here, most likely. Mickey gets the interim job. Now he's coming here. How much do you think that affects what happens with Mickey?
Yeah, there were some interesting comments there because, Nebraska was his first offer,
right.
But then everybody jumped in last year, and there was this weird period in September, October, even November, where it didn't look good. He was going to Michigan. He was going to all these other games around the country, and then the connection just didn't feel strong with Nebraska for whatever odd reason. And then Mickey Joseph came in, and literally one visit to Lincoln East kind of changed everything.
Right.
One conversation, kind of like Mickey Joseph calling Trey Palmer and saying, "You coming?"
Yeah.
And Trey's like, "Yep, I'm coming to
Sure,
Nebraska with you." And that's the effect Mickey had on Malachi and his family. And Malachi, I asked him the question at the press conference after his announcement. I said, what's your thought on the coaching situation? He goes, "Mickey's going to be here. I know that." So
nice.
he's very confident that Mickey Joseph will be at Nebraska one way or the other.
What about the other guys in-state-wise for the recruiting class?
Yeah, you look at this group of in-state prospects for Nebraska, there's now 6 committed to Nebraska here in this 2023 signing class. That ties the number for Nebraska in 2000 and 2002. That is the most Nebraska's had. Now,
and from all over the state, too. It's not just Omaha Metro guys. Yeah, all over the state.
You go around the state. They've got a chance to get Mason Goldman, which would be 7. That would be the most in the internet era. And the average distance right now per prospect, and On3, the database tracks that on the commit pages now. It's a really nice feature, is 467 miles.
That's the real 500-mile radius.
So, and you get Mason Goldman, Gretna's like 45, so that's going to go down even more. But that is the lowest distance in our database. Goes back to 1999. Now, I'm sure in the 80s and the 90s, if you really wanted to dig in the weeds and do a full...
Well, 91 alone, 91, 92, with all those guys that came in.
You do a full stat audit on all those classes, but, the internet era is kind of when things started, the coverage like it is now, and it's pretty remarkable. Nebraska has gotten 6, and really they could have had more than that. I mean, you got other guys that we're going to talk about here in a minute. Right. Zane Flores and other guys. So
before we get to him, you mentioned earlier coaches want out on the road. The coordinators didn't, but where'd they end up going?
All over the country. Mickey Joseph was in Atlanta. He was in Arizona. So he saw Barry Jackson in Atlanta. And then he went over to Arizona, saw Isaiah Newcomb, ran into Bobby Newcomb, who's the coach at Castile. Then he went by Chandler, home of Dylan Raiola, and swung by there. Brian Applewhite was in Chicago, offered a running back, was in Kansas, went to the JUCOs. Mike Dawson went with him to the JUCOs in Kansas. They made 7 offers, Michael, in the Kansas JUCOs over the weekend. Mike Cassano went out to Massachusetts to go watch William Watson play in his game. He also visited a couple more Northeast schools. You had Joey Connors, the new special teams coordinator. He went out to a JUCO in Northern California, and then a few high schools there. Donovan Raiola was in Arizona. Barrett Ruud was in Omaha. Keith Williams was activated, went out to St. Louis Thursday, Friday. And then Travis Fisher did go to Florida as well. So they had everybody out. And I'll tell you, that's a very active bye week. You don't see what I just showed you. Very few teams are going to go out at the level Nebraska did on a bye week. And it tells you a lot about just how driven Mickey Joseph is to be the guy right now.
Yeah, and win this class still. In-state, Zane Flores. I've said everything I could possibly say about the young man. I've never seen someone as a freshman spin the ball the way he did. He is a talented kid.
Yeah, Zane Flores, Oklahoma State, high 3-star type prospect, really on the cusp of being a 4, in my opinion, and had a lot of offers.
What's missing? From him being a 4? He's 6'3", he can run, he throws the ball as well as anybody, he's accurate. What's missing?
I think just when he's been in the showcase events, like at Elite 11.
Oh, he's got shorts on?
On that, in that event, when all the guys are together,
right.
when you can actually see them all throw together, he looked, maybe a notch below some of the top-rated guys, but there's no doubt he's a bona fide Big 10, Big 12 guy. K-State really wanted him. Oklahoma State wanted him. He didn't have an Iowa offer or, a Nebraska offer, and I think that's debatable. Now, I can tell you this, when Scott Frost was fired, Mickey Joseph did put informal feelers out to Gretna to say, hey, if there were some interest, would you be interested? And they got a no thank you. I mean, and I don't blame the Flores family. Oklahoma State, Mike Gundy, number one, phenomenal offensive coach.
Yeah.
Number 2, they've been on them from the get-go. So, Zane and his family, really, really good people. And, Oklahoma State's done things right the whole way. In fact, they were just in Stillwater this weekend, I know that, with Mason Goldman. He went down there with them and some other Gretna teammates this weekend.
Huge win this week by Oklahoma State over Texas. Big time.
Big time.
Thanks, Sean. We appreciate it. We want you to vote in this week's Sideline Survey. Always, will Nebraska make a bowl game? You've got probable, possible, and unlikely right now. Possible, hey, so you see there's a chance. 43% of folks say possible for Nebraska to make a bowl game, which would be a huge win. Of course, make sure to visit the Wrap-Up website and cast your vote. Time to take a look around the Big Ten. Penn State put it on. They routed Minnesota without their starting quarterback, 45-17. Wisconsin badgered Purdue, defeating the Boilermakers 35-24. And Ohio State continued to roll in the second half. Offensively challenged Iowa got destroyed 54-10. Let's dive into another coaching candidate for Nebraska this week. It's a hometown boy, kind of. Lane Kiffin, born in Lincoln. Of course, his dad, was a well-known defensive coordinator here. Lane has been a head coach at 5 different locations, including the NFL. What do you think, Sean? Pros and cons?
His brother coached here, too, by the way.
That's right.
Chris Kiffin had met his wife, who was a women's basketball assistant coach for Connie Ori. And they have several children where he's coaching, I believe, in the NFL. But, yeah, obviously the connections run deep. I've been to Lane's camp in Florida Atlantic 2 or 3 years in a row. I've talked to Monty. I mean, they have a high affinity for Nebraska. Monty does, especially growing up in Lexington and playing with Mick Tingelhoff in high school football. But it's a long shot. I mean, first of all, Mississippi is a perfect place for him. And I think the rule book and the way the SEC is, I think it fits Lane Kiffin very well down there.
I interviewed at the Combine with the Raiders. Your formal interviews with, I think you get like 20 or 30 minutes. And that was his first year. And I interviewed with Lane, and gosh, I can't even think who was it Rob Ryan, the defensive coordinator?
Oh, wow.
Back in the day.
Couple characters.
Oh, yeah.
That's some characters.
That was a very interesting interview, to say the least.
Pull a 6-pack out during the interview?
No, I could have probably needed it. I think those interviews will go until about 11 o'clock, midnight, to try to get them all in. But no, it was he was good. It was a good chance, a good opportunity to get to talk to Lane a little bit.
Yeah, you normally don't see guys leaving the SEC, really, unless it's Vanderbilt or somebody, to go someplace else. And he is like you mentioned, Oxford is a perfect place for him, right? Just laid back. He can do stuff he wants to do. He can have fun with his offense, and people don't expect a ton. If he wins 9 games, he's a hero.
Well, and the expansion of the playoffs to 12 is big because the SEC is thinking like they're going to get 3 every year, maybe 4 in some years. Between the Big Ten and the SEC, when the playoff goes to 12, they're going to get 6 of the bids. I mean, that's kind of the thinking right now. The Big 12 will get 1. Whatever's left of the Pac-12 might get 1. The ACC is going to get 1, and then the others will be Notre Dame and whoever. So I think the SEC and the Big Ten, if you're top 3 or 4, you're thinking you're in this new 12-team playoff, and Mississippi's kind of in that conversation going forward, and he's going to get players there. He's also a very attractive coach for transfers. I think his offensive style attracts quarterbacks, receivers, running backs, and you saw that this year. They got a really high-profile transfer to come in.
Let's go to some of the questions from Facebook and Twitter. What do you think about the way Mathis has played this year? Is it him underachieving? Is it the way the system is? What do you think?
You you'd like to see the sack numbers obviously elevated. He's gotten around there. I will say it's not the sexiest thing to talk about, but I think he's played really good against the run at times. I know Nebraska defensively has struggled against the run. I think he's done a pretty good job there. It's not like he's he's going zeros on the stat sheet. And the guy will have 6, 7, 8 tackles. It just doesn't go very noticed just because it's not behind the line of scrimmage. That's the biggest thing. You haven't seen the splash plays that we were kind of hoping. I mean, this was kind of this was the guy that they were looking to get out of the transfer portal this last year.
The Randy Gregory type
Yeah,
plays.
you just haven't seen it. And I've seen a couple times. Oh my gosh, yeah. Just a couple times, I'm breaking down the play. I can't remember if it was Oklahoma game where Gabriel goes for 60 yards. He's rushing. He's one-on-one with the tackle. Like he falls down the ground. Like that can't happen.
Right.
Like you have to be able to feel the rush, come back out of it, spin out of it, whatever, and make that tackle 5 yards down the field, for a 6-yard gain.
Yeah.
But he does it, and obviously, it was end of the story with Gabriel there. Would like to see more production, but I don't think it's been a total lost year. I think he's done some good things, but obviously with the recognition and all the NIL talk coming in with him, I'd like to see more production from him behind the line of scrimmage.
There was 6 people on that play with Gabriel, by the way.
Yeah,
Should have gotten him.
His PFF grade is still like high 70s, pushing 80. He's like 78. So it's not like his grade has been like bad.
Because his tackle grade's been good, and he's gotten some pressures the last
Just the sacks.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we were thinking 8-10 sack type guy, and he's going to end up being like more like 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, Khalil Davis is the last guy, I think, to get close to double digits.
He had 10.
He had 10, double digits, right. So Doug from Twitter asks, what about Brent Banks? Because he did get that little opportunity to come in and play, but we haven't seen him again. And he gets a guy like Alex Kahn, who's a 4-star. Where are young guys if they're...
Yeah, Kahn's just not in the conversation. I mean, that's the only way to say it. I mean, he's not even I don't think he travels. So as for Brent Banks, I think he's right there as the next tackle, but they're going to roll with Corcoran, and then they like that combo of Benhart Anthony on the right side. They're going to rotate those guys, but I think the only way you would see Banks is if Corcoran had to come off left and go inside or play right tackle. And who knows, maybe they'll tinker with something like that over the bye week here. How
long do you think legitimately it should take? Because it's hard to get those guys in the portal for offensive line, but how long do you think it should take to build an offensive line? By the way, Illinois did it pretty quickly. They had a whole bunch of guys who left the year before.
Lovey brought some good players.
He did, but they played a bunch of freshmen, and those guys got to be seniors and left, and then he kind of put this together, Bielema did. It was kind of
I would say 2 years max.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think just in the way you practice, how you practice in the spring, how you practice in training camp, how you practice during the season, I think you can develop an offensive line rather quickly.
Yeah.
Now you got to be, now it's always an interesting thing because you want to be able to practice physical where you're like, well, shoot, we don't have a ton of depth, so we can't get a ton of guys hurt, so you might have to tinker pull back. So that's where the dynamics, everything, it gets a little tricky. But I would think 2 years max. But I think just the way you practice and develop guys, I think you could get guys up to speed rather quickly.
Sean, Greg and Michael, both from Facebook, kind of same thing. When do you think we will know? Is it the day after the Iowa game? Do you think it happens earlier than that? When do you think they make the announcement of who the next head coach will be?
So if it's Mickey Joseph, I think you got to know before the Iowa game. I don't think you can go into Black Friday saying, all right, he's coaching for it. If he gets it, he does. I mean, I think you got to know the plan. Like, if it's not Mickey, you got to let him know before the Iowa game because so much is going to happen with the roster, with NIL, with transfers, all these things that you have to be ready to roll for. December 5th, if you don't have your operation set, full running. So I do think Iowa game's Friday. Sometime Saturday, even Sunday, I wouldn't be surprised if we're back there Sunday for like a press conference.
Right.
I think it's going to have to be that quick. And you might have the offer out the week of the Iowa game where it's under like top level secrecy. Yeah. And then, it becomes public after the games are over on Saturday.
Obviously, it matters if it's a guy still coaching or if it's someone who's not coaching right now.
Because if it's somebody still coaching, even like say if it's Bill O'Brien, like will Alabama play? Will they be in the SEC title game?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's going to come down to it. I mean, they possibly could be.
Because Tennessee and Georgia are in the East.
Yeah.
So it will be interesting to see.
Well, they got LSU. Alabama does.
Who will come out of the Alabama still could be playing. So what if it's Bill O'Brien at that point? Would they announce it before the SEC title game? Probably not. Yeah. So there's a lot of things. It's going to be wild no matter what these next 5 weeks.
About 30 seconds. What's holding Yant back from getting more carries, you think?
Consistency. I mean, you've seen the splash plays. You saw the runs against Northwestern last year. It's just when it comes down to the crunch time, I lean on the short yardage trip. He stumbles on his feet at the 4th and 1, the goal line against Minnesota. The goes the wrong way against Michigan last year. So when it matters the most, he doesn't show up to make a play.
Right.
And I think it's just consistency thing for him.
You're first up with burning questions.
My burning question is, can Mickey get this team up on a big stage Saturday? National TV, 2:30, ABC, Nebraska, Illinois. You can't draw it up any better. 63-degree weather in the stadium. If Mickey gets this team up and they play well, I mean, that's a great PR campaign for Mickey Joseph on Saturday.
No doubt.
If it's not Trey, who's it going to be? Is it going to be Vokaleg, Marcus Washington? Is it an Anthony Grant show up somehow? So if it's not Trey, who else is going to be? And I'm going to probably say it's going to be one of those three guys.
I think it's pretty simple. Can Nebraska win the turnover battle? They win the turnover battle, all bets are off what happens in any game in the Big Ten West. Don't forget to head to our website and click on the prediction. Jay, Sean, and myself will tell you exactly what to expect on Saturday. Nebraska begins a 2-game homestand starting this Saturday as they welcome Illinois to Memorial Stadium. Kickoff is scheduled for 2:30 on ABC. Of course, we'll be back here next Tuesday to recap the game with our special in-guest, former Husker and also good golfer, Zach Potter. Our thanks to Amy Just, Robin Washut, and our student volunteers in the call center for joining us tonight. For Jay Moore and Sean Callahan, I'm Michael Severe. We'll see you next week on Big Red Wrap-Up.